Hello and welcome back to yet again another episode of this English Malarkey. Hi to all my friends in Germany who I was teaching last year. I haven't forgotten you guys. I missed you a lot in Germany, okay? And I hope you're enjoying the videos and I hope they're helping you with your English. If you're new here, then consider subscribing for more English from the streets. Today we're in Bridgnorth and it's a beautiful day out here. Today's question is, what is a British accent? So, let's get to it. So, what is a British accent?
It can be very different things depending on which area of the country you come from, how long you've been there, where you've grown up, where your parents came from, any of those kind of things, really. Quite distinct from an American accent. Yeah, but there's huge variety. Huge variety. I would say that's what characterises the British accent. It's great variety.
So, what is a British accent?
That's a good question.
Yeah, sorry, go on. Depends which part of the country you're in. Okay. Because we all learn, whether we like it or not, to speak to suit where we're living in terms of the people we mix with.
What is a British accent?
Well, the British accent is quite a complicated one because there are lots of different regions that all sound very different. So, for example, I'm from Oxfordshire, which tends to be noted as kind of like the posh English accent. So lots of pronounced T's. We tend to make sure each word is enunciated properly, right, etc. Whereas currently we're in Shropshire, where there will be lots of other people who sound slightly less fully enunciated, slightly more kind of like relaxed and casual in the way that they use words. Okay. There's also like a weird twang that exists here that I've never really heard anywhere else, except maybe Birmingham. Okay. But on the whole, the English accent's it's a huge, broad spectrum because each different region of England sounds very different, which is really strange. And then if you get to Scotland and Wales, the accents are even weirder.
Oh yeah.
But cool in their own way.
Yes, it becomes a lot different.
Yes.
Well, when I was growing up, it used to be a BBC accent. And so if you didn't have a BBC accent, which I didn't because I'm from Yorkshire, life was more difficult, put it that way.
Yeah, that's interesting. What do you mean by that?
I mean that in order to progress, one had to have a BBC accent. And as you can tell, I still haven't got one. Which is why I'm where I am today.
Variety is the spice of life. So, what is a British accent?
Well, a British accent is wherever you come from, whether it be Birmingham, Walsall, Willenhall, Coventry, Newcastle, Manchester. They're all different.
Okay.
Every accent is different. Okay. It tells you where you come from.
Mm-hmm. I would also tend to believe that the British accent is very much influenced these days by external factors, particularly as we become a more multicultural society. It's quite interesting to see people from different ethnic backgrounds adopting a classic British accent or a classic British regional accent.
Okay.
So I worked in Leeds for many years, and a lot of people who come into the textile trade from the Far East had actually assimilated a Yorkshire accent simply by being in Leeds and listening to other people, and that's very slightly surreal occasionally.
Of course, yeah. I had a friend who was learning English and he was Chinese, and he learned his English from Downton Abbey. So you can imagine the kind of...
He must have had a very plummy accent.
It's brilliant to see, actually, yeah. So that's another example for you.
You even get little differences in dialects, like between Glasgow and Edinburgh. In Edinburgh, it's a lovely day here today. Mm-hmm. In Glasgow, it's more like, bloody hell, Jimmy, how's it going? Mm-hmm. So it's very different, although obviously that's Scottish, isn't it?
It is indeed.
A bit.
But you said British, didn't you?
I did.
So it still counts.
Oh yeah.
Unless Nicola has her way.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It definitely counts at the moment.
Yes.
Well, there are many different British accents. It's all regional. So somebody from the north of the country will speak completely different to somebody from the south of the country, or the east of the country, or the west of the country. So that can be very confusing, I can imagine, for someone whose English is not their first language.
Yeah.
Varied.
So just to pick up on what you said you pronounce the T's.
Yep.
So, for example, I was with some German friends last week and I said Pass me my water bottle, please.
Right, exactly.
And how would you say that?
Pass me my water bottle, please.
See, there you go. It's a brilliant example. So I'm from this kind of area. I'm from the Midlands. So I say water bottle, and you'd say
water bottle.
Perfect. That's a great difference right there. Right.
The British accent is kind of like the Queen's English, the proper Queen's English.
Okay.
Then again, they have the Irish and the Scottish and the Wales and Liverpool, the Sasa, things like that. So, but
what was that word you said? Sorry.
The Scasa.
Yes, the Scouse.
The Scouse.
Perfect. Yeah.
Which is the Liverpool, which is kind of strong English language.
Oh yeah.
But I prefer the Queen's English. Unfortunately, I can't speak the Queen's English. This is my own Africa one.
What is a British accent?
I mean, I don't know. There's just so many of them. I don't know what to tell you about it. Different than American.
Oh yeah.
Very different. I don't know. I guess it means more to you than it would to us. You know, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, they all sound the same."
Really? Do you think we all sound the same?
No, not anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you been here a while then?
I've been here on and off, for a couple of years.
Okay. So can you name any of the accents in the UK?
Manchester, London, of course. The north, like Newcastle, it's very distinctive. Here, it's a little sing-songy around here. It's kind of hard to tell between. It seems that there's definitely accents that are very different from even just village to village around here. You kind of notice that more, and I notice it more.
So it depends which area you live, what your accent is, and everyone's got different types of accents depending whether you live in the northeast or the Midlands or the south. Most people can pick up different accents from different people. They know basically where they come from.
Okay.
And that's British accent.
All right. And what accent do you have?
Probably the Midlands.
Okay.
And obviously everyone thinks they haven't got an accent because I sound normal, but everyone thinks they sound ordinary.
That's right. From where they come from, it's normal to them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Thanks very much for your response today.
Okay.
Cheers, thank you. What is your accent?
I would say my accent is Oxfordian. However, having lived here for 2 years now, there are a few moments where I catch myself saying things in the Midlands dialect.
Oh, okay.
So, for example, now I'll say like castle rather than castle, or Bath rather than Bath. But again, these are words where, like, because they're said differently in different areas with different accents, if you're hanging around with people who all speak the same accent for so long, sometimes you pick up some of those little habits.
It's going to happen, isn't it?
But when I go home and see my family, they get quite mad about it.
I bet you get in trouble for that,
Yes.
don't you? All right, brilliant. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, of course.
Perfect.
Bless you.
What's your accent then?
Yeah, it can actually vary because sometimes, for example, if I meet another person who's obviously Scottish, then what happens is if I detect it, the twang as we call it, I will respond to that and begin to go back to my roots really.
Okay.
And then they will do the same, so the accent can actually change.
Yeah.
Okay. Just while you're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Where's your accent from?
It's from Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So that's my second language.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you speak it very well.
Oh, thank you.
And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Cheers. Where are your accents from?
Ooh, now, I was born in Reading. I lived there for 8 years and then we moved to Cheshire, where I lived until I was about 18, 21. And then I went to London and I've lived in London ever since. So I would say that my accent is probably mostly a southern accent, but possibly not a totally pure southern accent.
Okay.
I don't know. But I would say Bath rather than Bath, for example, and book rather than book or cook or luke, which is certainly a Cheshire kind of thing. So yeah, but mostly southern, I would say.
My accent is Black Country.
Okay.
That's where I come from.
And what is Black Country?
Well, Wolverhampton, Willenhall, Bilston, all that area that used to be the Black Country because of the industry, which is now no longer there, but still called the Black Country.
Perfect.
Okay.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Okay.
My accent, I would say, I'm from the valley of Connecticut, so it's like, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's kind of some weird mixture of, the south end of the state and the Hartford County part of the state. We're kind of smack dab in the middle.
Okay.
So we adopted a few things from each place.
Very nice. Down in the valley.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Where's your accent from?
It's a mixture of here and the southeast. I lived in the southeast for 25 years, so I've got a bit of a mixture.
Brilliant, thank you. Yourself?
I'm North London born and bred, so I've got probably a southern accent now. I haven't got what I would call a hard London accent or a hard North London accent, but I can certainly put one on like. So if you want me to be a North London boy, I can talk like a North London boy does, as opposed to a South London bloke, because if you come from the South, it's a bit harsher.
Thank you, I love it. Did you ever eat jellied eels growing up?
No, I didn't actually.
Wrong part of London.
Probably the
East
wrong part
London,
of East.
sorry.
That's
East
more
London,
in East London.
East London.
Of
Yeah.
course, my bad.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Well, thank you very much for your help today, folks. I hope you have a good rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you. So, folks, thank you for watching today's episode of This English Malarkey. It's been great fun. If you know of any more accents that we didn't talk about today, make sure you write them in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and remember, you've got This English Malarkey. So, folks, thank you for watching. We go on the streets and we ask people things in English. Just keep it going, keep it going. I would say okay.